Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
How are you feeling today?
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you feeling?
Okay, good. We're fine, ma'am.
So to start our class, can I call on Miss Awit to start the prayer?
Let us all bow down our heads and feel the presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But this day our daily bread, forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Do not bring us into test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you for that, Miss Awit. So good morning again, everyone. So last meeting, we discussed about the meaning of children and adolescent literature, its genre, category, and its history. So for today, we will tackle on the elements of children and adolescent literature, or basically the fundamental items that a literature is made of, especially in the children and adult literature area. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So our topic for today is all about literary elements. We have characters, plot, setting, theme, and point of view. For characters, in children's literature, character is used to mean a person or personified animal or object. Then we have the types of characters. We have ground characters. These are the fully developed characters in the story, or the central characters and protagonists. This is the most dominant character that we can read in a story or perhaps in a movie. Next, we have flat characters. This is the less important characters but essential to the action. Next, dynamic characters. These are the characters that create changes in the course of action. Next, we have static characters. No change in the course of the story. Flat characters, stereotypes, and foils. Next, we have other elements, which is the plot. This is defined as the sequence of events showing characters in action. Sequence is chosen by the author as the best way of telling the story. Elements of the plot, we have narrative order. When we say narrative order, this is the way or the order in which the writer chooses to unfold the story to the reader. Chronological, events are related in the order of their happening. Flashbacks, writer disrupts normal time sequence to recount some past events. Next type of plot, we have the conflict. When we say conflict, this is the struggle the protagonist of the story faces. Next, person against self. This is this is under the conflict, in which character typically faces an internal um, confusion, which pulls him or her towards two courses of action. Next, person against person involves a struggle between two or more characters. Third, person against society involves a struggle between a character or characters and either social norms, cultural values, or sometimes the law. Next, we have person against nature. This involves a conflict between a character and some force or forces of nature. The next, pattern of action. The pattern that the action of the story takes place. Then suspense. State of uncertainty about what events will happen in the story. Cliffhanger, foreshadowing, and sensationalism. We have climax. This is the peak or the turning point of the conflict, a point at which the reader knows the outcome of the action. Then lastly, denouement. This is the resolution or tying together of the plot that gives the reader a sense of completeness at the end. So for the setting, can I call on Mr. Romero to please read the content of the setting?
The time and place where the story occurs. The characteristic of settings. Time identified as past, present, or future. Setting is developed through text or illustrations. The third one is settings provide details which enforce the plot and characterization.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Romero. So setting, this is basically the place where the story takes place. Next, we have themes. So can I call on Miss Sigador to please read?
Themes. The idea that holds the story together or the author's message to the reader. It is the main idea or the central meaning of the story. Themes often deal with society, human nature, the human condition, social issues, and good versus evil. Themes are the underlying ideas, morals, and lessons that give the story its texture, depth, and meaning.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sigador. So themes is basically the central meaning of the story. It is so clear in our definition stated in here. How theme is the element that holds the story together, that helps captures the reader's attention. Lastly, we have point of view. This is the side of the story that the reader sees as revealed by the author through the characters. Point of view is seen through the eyes and minds of characters as the plot unfolds. So we have here the types of point of view. We have first person. Second, objective point of view. Third, omniscient point of view. Then lastly, limited omniscient point of view. So for your assignment, wait. We will present this one next meeting. So you have to prepare. Am I still audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So you will present this next meeting. You will prepare a role play showing the elements of children and adolescent literature. And there should be 2 groups, and that is for you to decide. So after the presentation, each group will critique their opposing team if the other had perfectly administered the elements of children and adolescent literature. And one by each group should represent in front of everyone their group's inferences of the other team's performance as a test also of your judgment skills. So are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you everyone. Class dismissed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good job.
Good morning, students. Good morning. Okay, please be seated. So, are you aware that today will be your presentation? Yes. Okay, so a little recap. Last meeting, we discussed about the different elements of children and adolescent literature. So, what I call You will critique each of the group's performances, the opposing team. Then, one representative each group to present your inferences about the performance of the other team. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes to practice. Okay? Okay. Bear was making fun of the boys one day for being so
No, I'm not. Wala ako na. I don't think cocky and that's slow, so I'm going to challenge you to prove that I'm not slow. Hindi kita man. Okay, let's go. Tapos, cut down the words. Cut down the words. Down sa starting line.
Bear was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so
No, I'm not.
I get there. warmer and warmer. Even they are small or slow, we should never underestimate. Finally, dali naman yan po na. Dali yan? Saan mo yung competition? Never underestimate. Dali yan po. The man started to feel warmer and warmer. Finally, take it no more, started sweating. He slowly took the mask from the purposely over. He slowly took off his scarf off. Oh no! At last, the sun's warmth became so much for the man that he took off his coat too and flung it aside. The sun had become a magician.
I am sorry. I underestimated that my potatoes and God only power to make this happen.
Therefore, just not only the sun, oh, it was more, my friend. The sun had won the competition. Kasi mag-sorry. Dali. Oh, ang ini ay thought that so, again, the sun had won the competition. Why don't you blow it from the
Okay, time is up. So are you all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is our first presenter?
Hi, ma'am. Kami, ma'am. Want to pick?
Okay, go on the stage with the group of Miss Awil. Bear in mind that you are not allowed to use your vernacular in every conversations that you will throw to each other.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
would be minus to your score.
Yes, ma'am. This is the story of the sun and the wind. A long, long time ago, the wind and the sun, which was talking, when the wind said something strange to the sun,
You don't know that I am more powerful than you, don't you?
"Be arrogant, my friend." But the wind got offended.
I am not being arrogant. I am just being truthful. If you don't believe me, let's have a competition right now.
The sun did not want to compete with his friend, but the wind left him with no choice. Reluctantly, he agreed. "Okay, my friend, let's have a competition." Just then, a young man was walking in the road. Below them, he was wearing a beautiful scarf and a handsome coat.
See that man below? Whoever did that scarf and coat of them wins.
"Okay, wind, you go ahead first." And so the wind blew at the man. The man's scarf moved a bit and his coat front flapped a little.
It was just a beginning. I will show the man more of my power.
Now, the wind blew a little more strongly. The man's scarf and coat front started flapping more in the wind. The wind grew fiercer and blew more widely at him. The man's scarf almost left him, but he caught it and tied it around his neck properly. The wind blew at the man with all his power and anger, but it only made the man wrap his scarf and coat around him more tightly. He started feeling so cold with the wind blowing at him that he wrapped his arms around his legs and sat down by the road. The wind failed to get his scarf and coat off.
I have still not lost. If my power and anger couldn't do the job, you surely won't be able to do it either.
Let us see. I think you have frozen the poor man. Maybe he could use some work. And so the sun gently smiled a bit at the man. Immediately, the man started feeling better. He straightened up and the color returned to his cheeks.
Is that it? Is that all you can do? Smile at them?
The sun ignored his friend and smiled at the man a little bit more. The man became more comfortable and walked his way faster. Watch what happens now. Now, the sun gave the man an even bigger smile.
As the sun's smile grew bigger, the man started feeling warmer and warmer. Finally, he could take it no more and started sweating. He slowly took off his scarf off.
Oh no!
At last, the sun's warmth became so much for the man that he took off his coat too and flung it aside. The sun had won the competition.
I'm sorry. I underestimated the effect of gentleness. I thought only power could make things happen in the world. But I was wrong.
Oh, don't worry, my friend.
Why don't you blow at him gently so his sweat can vanish? The wind did so while the sun continued to smile at him lightly. The man went on his way home, enjoying a pleasant day.
That's all. Thank you.
Next group, please proceed.
So, our story is all about the tortoise and the hare. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. Do you ever get angry? The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise, but for the fun of the thing he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off. The hare was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try a race with the hare, he lay down beside a horse to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. The tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and after a time passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept very peacefully, and when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, but he could not overtake the tortoise in time. So, to sum up, we should never underestimate the capability of a person or even animals. Even they are small or slow, we should never underestimate them. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, for your inferences for each group, I will give you 3 minutes to write your conclusions.
From how to critic, Tina ratings, out of 100%. 100%.
Okay, if you are ready, then you can proceed in front to state your conclusion.
Good morning, everyone. So we are the group 2, and we will be critiquing the performance made by group 1 a while ago. We have observed that during their role play, they have few movements lang, and then I bet that that's not the exact in role playing kasi you have to make such movements in having your role play, and then it's so hard for the audience to interpret what they're doing because they're having such adequate movements lang in executing the actions. And then so far the story was good, and then it's catching or eye-catching to the audience, which are the children. So that's all. Thank you.
For the other group, okay, thank you, Ms. Nahial, for that conclusion. So, for the next group, may I call on your representative to please stand here in front?
Okay, so hi, I am from group 1. So I'm going to critique the representation of Group 2. Absolutely, it was incredibly amazing. Actually, it's stated there the lessons, which is stated by the speaker or the narrator, and then although the actions are not stated clearly, that it can portray it naman. So it goes
Well,
it goes so well, yes. And then, but the one of the disadvantages of this presentation from the Group 2 is because of their voice. I mean, it's actually nice if they perform it loud and clear to the audiences, so that audiences will enable to interpret the presentation as well. But overall, it was good, and kudos to everyone. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Your presentations are quite good. Now let's give ourselves a Hugjaw clap. Do you know what is Hugjaw clap? No. Okay, it is like this. Hugjaw. Hugjaw, hugjaw. Hugjaw, hugjaw, hugjaw. Okay, everyone. Here we go. Hugjaw. Hugjaw, hugjaw.